Hey guys, what's up? So Phil here. I'm following through with my promise. Here's a video on the 3 exercises to improve a stiff upper back and improve the core control around the middle so your low back doesn't feel so tight and have so many spasms. You know, in a lot of our training, we can get a lot of low back tightness, which sometimes coincides with upper back stiffness. So the next 3 exercises are all about the core, and I'm going to talk my way through the cues used to improve core control in a certain position. So everything is very position specific and it has to be with intent. Okay, so I'm going to talk smoothly and guide you through the process. The 3 exercises are going to be a plank variation, a dead bug hollow body position, and a quadruped all fours hands and knees position. Okay, and I'm going to show you a progression for each one of those from the baseline. Okay, so here come the exercises. Okay, exercise 1, we have the plank. Okay, and it's a little bit different than your standard elbows and feet plank. Okay, so the first thing I want to do for this plank specifically is we want to put our feet on the wall behind us. Okay, now by doing that, now we have a barrier of support. Okay, now in this position I'm going to stay on my knees. I'm not going to lift my knees up right away. Okay, here, by forcing our heels onto the wall, not just the toes, our heels, you're going to be able to stabilize your hips and lock out your thighs. Okay, by doing so you're actually forcing the abs to contract a lot harder. I'm already feeling my abs fired up right now, and I'm literally just holding this position. Now, the big key is appreciate where your thorax is. It's not about keeping it here. You want to try as hard as you can to keep an angle of your sternum straight at the ground, okay? If you can't do that, just appreciate where your back is. We don't want any sagging here, okay? We don't want anything coming like this. So here, heels into the wall, squeeze your butt cheeks, hold that position. If you can, try to get your chest up while squeezing your butt. Same time, keep that sternal angle, that chest bone right at the ground. Breathing, and if you make this harder, you can slide your hands out a little bit. Now, as you slide it out, you're going to get extension. You're going to want to fall forward. Now, you can let your sternum slightly raise towards the ground. Just make sure you don't start sagging. If you sag your hips, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the low back sagging, okay? Here, on your hands, just keeping your feet into the wall. Good. Now, so in that position, in that exercise, we really need to focus on making sure your feet stay in the wall and you keep your hands and sternum in line facing the ground. That allows your obliques and that 6-pack, the rectus abdominis, to contract at a better angle, which is stabilizing your rib cage. And then as you go out farther, you open up the backside of your rib cage and spine. That's how you create greater extension capabilities in the upper back. Now, you may not notice results immediately, but if you do this and practice these tips on a consistent weekly level, that's where the magic happens. That's how spines unloosen. I've done it hundreds of times, so try that. On to the next exercise. Okay, exercise number 2. We have the dead bug hollow hold position. This one is going to be a little bit easier to get into for those who have a stiff upper back. So if you have a stiff upper back, it might mean you're already here, okay? Forcing a stiff upper back to extend is not really going to happen by just doing extension. So we have to be able to tell the brain it's safe, get the abs and obliques to contract with flexion in order to tell the brain that it's safe to go into extension. And that position has to be worked over time using the arms and the legs. But let me get into it before I keep talking here. So this is, I'm going to use a pillow here because if I have a stiff upper back, I'm not going to be able to get my head in neutral, okay? So I'm going to take this here. So if you're someone who has a stiff upper back, this is going to be perfect. Here, And now all I want to do, I'm going to put my arms and legs up, and I'm making that nice hollow position, crunching my abs together, eliminating strain on the neck with the pillow. Here, okay? Now, let's make this a little bit harder. You could fall out overhead. Here. Here. And I'm just using a light foam roller to allow my arms to fall overhead. You can even change how much leverage or how much of a lever you have on there. Now, the same cues apply, like the plank. As you go overhead, you're trying to think about lifting the sternum up, but continuing to hold that contraction. Here, you're trying to get this just a little bit taller. You don't want to have it too crunched up here where you can't extend up, because remember, with extension, with shoulder flexion, you need extension. Here, you know, you can even bring it out more. None of these exercises have to be specifically exactly what I'm showing you here, but the principles have to be applied in terms of holding that sternum in a neutral alignment, whatever's neutral for you, and then appreciating that the abs have to contract on that, and then you have to move upon that position. Hence the dead bug, arms overhead, fall out, bilateral, not one at a time. You can progress to that, but I found more results just from doing it both sides and allowing you to open up the chest as you're going overhead with an abdominal contraction. Exercise number 3, coming in hot. Okay, the last exercise I have is the quadruped all fours, hands and knees position. Okay, so like the plank, we're going to use the wall as a border, a cue, a support system, something to push into. So your heels and are feeling something, and your hips are taken out of the equation. Okay, by allowing the hips to feel more stable, you're actually putting more emphasis on the abdominals. So let's get to it. Show them right up here. So all I'm going to do, I want to start with my hands. For someone with a stiff upper back, I'm going to start with my hands actually right just above eye level. So if I'm at 90 degrees, I want right above eye level here. Heels, I'm going to push into the wall as I'm coming up. So I'm going to come up to here, and most people with a stiff upper back, I'm going to be a little rounded right here, which is no big deal because even then you're still getting a lot of abdominal activity. Now from this position here, I want to think about keeping my heels into the wall, potentially squeezing my butt a little bit more, and then trying to get my chest more to face the floor. Okay? The more I get my chest down, the more I'm going to light up those obliques and abdominals. If those are feeling safe and secure, and those are getting stronger, your T-spine, your upper back, is going to open up. Come back down. Need to break myself. Try that again. So from here, pop up, easy. Feel my abs contract right there. Make this a little bit harder. You can even walk your hands out, pushing your heels into the wall, squeezing your butt a little bit more. You're trying to get your sternum to face the ground, holding that position right there. Again, I don't want to lift my head up. I know I do that from time to time. Just there. But it's really important with a lot of these exercises, like the plank, and this one, a wall or a support is huge because of how it just eliminates the hips, so the hip flexors, from holding you up in that position, and it literally forces you to use your core. By using your core and forcing it to work regardless, you have the ability now to dictate where this bone sits. By everything locked out below, now you can dictate where this position is. Now, some people, it's going to be stiff at first, you're not going to be able to make much change. But over time, as you walk your hands out, it's actually going to force you into more of an extended position. Be careful though. Remember, we don't want to start arching our low back. So once that low back starts kicking on, that's when you cut off the exercise. You know, for the plank, you could do 5 rounds of 15-second holds. That might be sufficient for some, or others you might be able to do farther out, 4 rounds of 30-second holds. Whatever is, wherever you're feeling the burn without becoming excessive. Remember, we want to spread this out. We don't want to gas you in one session. You know, you have other training to do. The dead bug hollow body hold, you could just hold it for, again, 4 rounds, 30 seconds, 4 rounds, 20 seconds. You could do 15, 20 passovers over the head, holding the position, appreciating where this sternum angle is as you're moving up overhead, keeping those abs contracted. And then the quadruped on the wall, you could hit that for, you know, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds of, you could say 15 to 25 seconds. You know, some of these things are going to vary from person to person. So I'm not giving very specific cues or very specific instructions for sets and reps, and I don't want to, because I want you to feel it out. Go based more on feel and feeling the abdominals contract versus just having a set plan of sets, reps here and there. Once you get the feel for it, you'll have an idea of kind of what you can do and what feels good. And then you'll also be able to feel, you know, how opening up here actually puts these obliques more in contraction. And the obliques, in my opinion, are the big key. The external and internal obliques. Externals run kind of this way, internals are below, and they run the other way, going from here back here. Those are the big key factors in dictating how the ribs are positioned and how you're breathing, how you're moving. So those are a huge role player. Cool, that's all I got for you guys. I don't want this video to take too long, but I know it's going super long anyways. Just let me know if you have any questions. This is here for you. And let me know if there's anything else you would like to benefit from, because I know I could talk forever, and I can even get more specific on certain cues. Yeah, just let me know. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps.